What's up, gang? CJ Curry here, back with another Thursday night football video, and we're talking prize picks. If you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, get subscribed now. It's free for you to subscribe. We're on our way to 24,000 subs, and I'd love for you to join us on this journey. While you're there hitting the subscribe button, slap the like button as well. If this video gets at least 100 likes, I'll drop a video in the coming days for Sunday's football games. Massive NFL slate coming up this Sunday. So if you guys want more content out of me, let me know that you love what I do here by hitting that like button. You might also want to ring that bell because YouTube doesn't do the best job of notifying you whenever I drop new content here on the channel. So ring the bell, turn on all notifications so that you're alerted as soon as a new video drops here on the channel. Now, if you're not playing on PrizePicks, it's a great time to get signed up. Code CJ Curry still get you that 100% deposit match. Basically, when you play $5, they're going to give you $50 back. You're getting a 10x on your return right out of the gate. So if you're not a PrizePicks member yet, go down, use the link in the description of today's video, use the code CJ Curry and make that first deposit and take advantage of this special offer. Speaking of special offers, PrizePicks is giving you even more reason to play. They're offering the Caleb Williams free square. So what does this mean? Well, if Caleb Williams of the Chicago Bears quarterback has at least one passing yard or more, you basically have a winning pick. A free square, in other words. So definitely take advantage of that. They've been doing this for the last couple of weeks. They're doing it again for week 3. So this is a great opportunity for you to take advantage. And basically all you need to do is pair one other winning pickup with this one, and you'll 3 times your money. Who doesn't like a little triple up? Anyway, take advantage of that if you haven't already. Let's get into today's picks. We got the New England Patriots traveling to New York, facing the New York Jets. Let's be honest here. This game, like most of these primetime games have been, not just this season, but going back to last season and previous seasons, these primetime games suck. And I don't expect a whole lot. My expectations are set very low for this game. It's probably going to be a very low scoring affair. I think these two teams are combining for about 38.5 points according to Vegas and where they have the money line set for this game. So don't expect a ton of scoring, a ton of touchdowns, a ton of points from either one of these teams. You might get, a couple of touchdowns out of the Jets. You'll be lucky if you get one touchdown out of the Patriots, and probably a couple of field goals from both sides as well. We've seen field goal kickers seem to have been on the uptick this season early on here through weeks 1 and 2. Anyway, so we're going to start here with Jacoby Brissett. He's at 160.5 passing yards, and ask me, do I feel great about it? I don't feel great about it. It's Jacoby Brissett. He's not very good. He's kind of old now. And the New England Patriots receivers aren't great. They're going against a defense that is pretty great, especially at the cornerback position. But, if the Jets build a lead, then New England will be forced to drop back and pass the ball more than they would probably like to. And in this case, that's what we're hoping for, that the game script leads to the Jets getting up by a touchdown or two, and hopefully Brissett and the Patriots have to throw some more. Anyway, we're seeing some value here. If we go over to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer on Jacoby Brissett, his passing yards are sitting a little bit higher on some other sports books compared to where PrizePicks has it. So PrizePicks has it at 160.5 passing yards. You're seeing him at 163.5, 164.5 on some of these other sites. So we're getting 3 to 4 yards of value here, which isn't a ton when you're talking about something like passing yards, which has kind of a wide range of outcomes, right? So, but nonetheless, we do have to acknowledge that there is some value on this prop, even though it is Jacoby Brissett. Now, I don't stop there. I like to apply some projections, and projections can be right, are typically more right than wrong, but aren't always right. So I want to throw that disclaimer out there. Now, of our last 2 videos, we've hit on 9 out of our last 11 picks using these same projections. So hopefully the success and the trend continues. So let's take a look at the projections here for Jacoby Brissett. But we'll start here at RotoWire, one of my favorite projection tools. They built an awesome platform here. If you're a PrizePicks member, an Underdog member, etc., These tools work great. They tell you whether you should go more or less. They give you projections. They give you hit rates. They compare how PrizePicks stacks up against other sports books and DFS style pick'em apps. So in this case, we've got a projection here of Jacoby Brissett's passing yards, 181 passing yards. So they're leaning toward the over, despite the fact that Jacoby Brissett doesn't really hit the over at a very high clip. But we're not so worried about hit rates. We're kind of looking at this matchup and taking it for what it is, looking at everything in a vacuum. So the first projection looks good for Jacoby Brissett. We're also going to use Fantasy Labs. In case you haven't heard, Sean Kerner, one of the best in the business at NFL fantasy projections. Also, Chris Raybon. These two guys combined is where you're getting these projections from. And so one of my favorite NFL projections is right here on Fantasy Labs, Sean Kerner, Chris Raybon. Now they've got him combined for a consensus of 173.5 passing yards, which is higher than his line sits at 160.5 by about 13 yards or so. So we want to take advantage of that there. And then one of my other favorite NFL projection models has Jacoby Brissett going over as well. This one's called The Blitz by Derek Carty. You can find this on EV Analytics or go over to Roto Grinders and check it out there. Tell him CJ sent you. But anyway, Jacoby Brissett projected for 172.3 passing yards over on The Blitz. So we've got another projection model. That makes 3 different projection models that have Jacoby Brissett throwing the ball more than 160.5 passing yards. So we're going to go with that. Hopefully it works out for us, and that'll be the first pick that we take. You could take this alongside of Caleb Williams, or you can wait for more picks in my next video for Sunday. Anyway, let's move on to the second pick. We're staying with the New England Patriots, and we're going to go look at this young man, Mr. Douglas, Demario Douglas, who's sitting at 5 fantasy score, taking on the New York Jets. Now, Demario Douglas has not gotten off to a great start in the first couple weeks of this NFL season, but there's some reason to be optimistic here. And that's because head coach Jerod Mayo said he needs to get Douglas more involved. He needs to be a priority for the Patriots as they prepare for the New York Jets on Thursday Night Football. Jerod Mayo goes on record saying we have to get him going. We have to scheme up things for him. He's one of our most explosive players, and that's on us coaches to put it together. All right, so there's some hope here from Jerod Mayo and the New England Patriots that they're going to get Demario Douglas more involved. He does line up in the slot for the Patriots more often than not, so he's probably going to be going up against Michael Carter, who isn't 100% healthy right now. He's been dealing with some ankle issues, and then they've also got their other cornerback DJ Reed, who's dealing with some health issues as well, and Sauce Gardner hasn't really been that great either. So maybe the Jets corners are a little overrated, or at least getting off to a little bit of a rough start. But anyway, Demario Douglas sitting at 5 fantasy score, maybe gets more involved playing out of the slot for the Patriots today. But let's take a look at the projections here. First and foremost, is this a positive expected value play plus EV play? And according to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, it is. At 5 fantasy score, he's got about a 52% chance of hitting 5 or more fantasy score going up against the New York Jets. So that's pretty good. 52%, it's better than 50%, a coin flip, right? So we got to take every little edge and advantage that we can. In this case, we're getting a little bit of a mathematical advantage with this play. So how do the projections line up for Douglas? Well, I'll show you. Let's go over to RotoWire and check them out first. We pop open his player card. He's projected for about 5.87 fantasy score. So again, we're hoping New England trails, that they have to pass the ball more, and that Jerod Mayo finds a way to get Demario Douglas the football more than he has in weeks 1 and 2. So that first projection looks pretty decent. Let's also go over to Fantasy Labs and take a look at his projection there. They've got him projected for 6.43 fantasy score. Again, his line is 5 on PrizePicks, so this is a difference of about 1.5. And then the third projection, which is going to be the Blitz. The Blitz has Demario Douglas projected higher than any of these other projection models at 8.4 fantasy score. So that's why I'm leaning over. I'm buying into Jerod Mayo and putting my faith in that him and the offensive coordinator will get the ball in Demario Douglas's hands a little bit more than they have to start the season. Now, I got 3 New York Jets picks that we're going to talk about. Before we get into that, if you guys are looking for a community, that's right, a community that's focused on player props, sports betting, we've got you covered. Me and Dub Club have partnered up For as little as 67 cents per day, you can join our community. We're sharing our favorite picks, plays, parlays, and we're trying to help each other win more together. So if you're interested in that, 7-day free trial down in the comments section below. I'll pin that as the top comment. Click that link, start your 7-day free trial, and then after that ends, it's only 67 cents per day, $5 per week, $20 per month, or you can extend that out for a longer duration and save yourself more money that way. Anyways, we'd love to have you in the community. Check it out down in the comments section below. All right, back to our Jets picks. Now, this guy also is kind of working his way back from a pretty serious injury, but according to the head coach, once again, he believes that Mike Williams is going to increase his rep count. He doesn't come out and explicitly say it, but he kind of gives us some reason to believe that we're going to see more than 35 reps here, snaps for Mike Williams. So Robert Saleh hints at an increased rep count for Jets key free agent addition. So that is Mike Williams they're talking about here. They went and asked Mike Williams, and Mike Williams said he feels good. That was one of the first questions we asked him yesterday. He feels really good. So he had 35 snaps, according to the head coach. He wants more involved and his body feels good, so we're going to continue to get him involved. So that's pretty promising news from the New York Jets and for Mike Williams. And so there's a couple different props that I'm looking at for Mike Williams. Let's go ahead and pull them up for you now. The first one that I'm looking at is Mike Williams over 23.5 receiving yards. And then the second one would be Mike Williams over 5 fantasy scores. So you could go either way on this particular prop. Obviously, for fantasy score, you get 1 point per reception. So those could really add up quick. 2 receptions and 30 some odd yards. He could get over 5 fantasy score. Or if he catches the touchdown, he clears it right away, no problem. But this one looked pretty good, as did the 23.5 receiving yards, and we'll take a look at why that is. Strictly going off of the projections here, let's look at RotoWire first and foremost. We'll start with the receiving yards. They've got him projected as high as 36 receiving yards on a line of just 23.5 on PrizePicks. So a pretty big differential there from PrizePicks lines versus this first projection. Let's also take a look at his receiving yards over on Fantasy Labs, where they have him projected at a whopping 31.6 receiving yards. So this news of Mike Williams' snap count trending upward is also causing his receiving yards to trend upward. The New England Patriots do not have very strong cornerbacks, and so this could be a great spot for Mr. Mike Williams to get going in his third week as a New York Jet. Let's take a look at a third and final projection. We're going to go over to the Blitz and look at the projection for Mike Williams over there. And they have Mike Williams as high as 35.28 receiving yards. So all 3 projection models have Mike Williams going well over his receiving yard total. And hopefully he gets more snaps. And hopefully those more snaps lead to more targets. And those targets lead to receptions, and those receptions lead to more yards. So that one looks good. And then we'll also talk about the fantasy score real quick. As you probably saw here, RotoWire's got him projected for over 5 fantasy score at 7.65 fantasy score here. So that should be pretty attainable as long as Mike Williams gets more snaps than he did in weeks 1 and weeks 2. 7.65 is your projection though. Taking a look at a second projection, which is going to be Fantasy Labs. Fantasy Labs has Mike Williams all the way up at 8.0 fantasy score. So that puts him over his fantasy number by 3, which is pretty darn good when you're talking about PrizePicks lines versus the projection model differential. And last but not least, we're going over to the Blitz. And on the Blitz, Mike Williams is, well, I don't know why he's not pulling up, but I can assure you that he was projected for about 8 fantasy score earlier. Let's see here. Let's do this, do that. And just want to show you, 8 fantasy score. 8 fantasy score on the Blitz. So there you go. 3 different projections all have Mike Williams going over 5 fantasy score. So last but not least, our final play of the day. We're looking at another New York Jet. And in this case, I'm wanting to go with Braelon Allen, running back who's playing behind Breece Hall. But remember that this is a short week for the New York Jets, and so I would not be surprised if the Jets build a lead playing at home, favored by 6 points. If they turn the ball to Breece Hall and Braelon Allen and get these guys plenty of touches and plenty of carries, and Breece Hall being, like I said, on a short week, may not be 100% healthy, may not be 100% well rested. And so I could kind of see a situation where they get Braelon Allen a couple more carries, a couple more touches. And I'm looking at his rushing yards here because they are projecting really well, as everything else is that we've talked about in this video. So let's go back over here and look at him on RotoWire. Checking out RotoWire's projection. They've got him projected for about 24 rushing yards. Again, he needs 22 or more to clear the 21.5 number. So seeing a projection of 24 has got to make you feel pretty good. You're seeing him at 22.5 rushing yards on sites like FanDuel and BetRivers, a couple of other sports books that are out there. So, 21 to 22.5 kind of seems to be the trend as far as where his line is set for tomorrow night's game. Taking a look at his projection over on Fantasy Labs. Let's go and take a look at Braelon Allen there. He's projected for about 28 rushing yards there, according to Fantasy Labs. So Sean Kerner, Chris Raybon, they think he's going to go for more than 21.5 rushing yards. So you get a few yards, several yards of differential there. And then the last projection to wrap this video up, we're going to go back over here and look at where he's at on the Blitz by Derek Carty, and they've got him at 26.4 rushing yards, putting him over that 21.5 number. So that's what the projection models are liking, gang. You got Braelon Allen going over 21.5 rushing yards. Aaron Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show raving about this kid, saying they've got 2 studs in the backfield. So let's just see how much of a stud he is. Hopefully he comes through and does what he's projected to do. What do you guys think? Kind of an ugly game. Thursday night football, Patriots, Jets. I'm not real excited about it. Let me know your thoughts and comments down in the comment section below. Good luck on all your picks, plays, and parlays, and we'll see you in another video real soon. Run those likes up if you want me to drop another one. Appreciate you. Peace.